Christian Horner, the head of Red Bull Racing, is making shocking headlines. Questions swirl about his future as he steps into the F1 paddock in Melbourne. Everyone wants to know about the recent appeal against him and the complaint filed with the FIA. But hold on to your seats, because there's more to this story. Rumor has it that Horner is eyeing the top spot as CEO of Red Bull GmbH. What could this mean for the future of Red Bull Racing? Let's dive into this video today to find out. Since the passing of co-owner Dietrich Mateschitz, there has been a power struggle within Red Bull between the Austrian faction, holding 49% of shares, and the Thai faction, controlling 51%. It's now evident that Christian Horner has aligned himself with the Thai side, which supported him despite allegations of misconduct towards a now suspended employee. Reports suggest that Chalem Uvidya, Red Bull's Thai majority shareholder, now backs Horner's aspiration to become the CEO of Red Bull GmbH. This move could lead to the displacement of current executives Oliver Mintzlaff, Sport, Franz Watzlawick, Sales, and Alexander Kirchmeier, Finance. According to sources, Horner's favor with Uvidya stems from a significant offer. If Horner succeeds, it's speculated that Alex Albon, a Thai driver, would be brought into the team. Albon would reportedly stand a strong chance of competing for the world title in 2025 with Red Bull, particularly if Max Verstappen decides to leave due to the ongoing turmoil within Red Bull Racing and secures a spot elsewhere for the next season. Here's the entire story of what happened. Red Bull Racing, originally a struggling Jaguar-branded team bought from Ford, was revitalized by billionaire energy drinks mogul Dietrich Mateschitz. Mateschitz swiftly replaced team principal Günther Steiner and elevated Christian Horner, owner of the GP2 team, to lead the transformation, establishing what is now a dominant force in F1. Horner successfully recruited Adrian Newey from McLaren, despite Newey's discontent, to bolster the Red Bull F1 project. Together, in just 19 years, they've climbed to joint fourth on the all-time list of Grand Prix winners, trailing only Mercedes by 12 victories for third place on the F1 honours list. However, unlike Toto Wolff, who was allowed to own a stake in the Mercedes empire he helped build, Horner was never offered a similar arrangement. Nonetheless, he received a substantial £8 million per year compensation package. As concerns about Mateschitz's declining health emerged, Horner faced uncertainty about the team's future. While he enjoyed unwavering support from the Austrian billionaire, the question of who would control the F1 team's fate in the long run remained unclear. Mark, son of Mateschitz, inherited a 49% stake in the Red Bull energy drinks empire from his father, along with the authority to appoint a certain number of board members to the parent company, Red Bull GmbH, registered in Austria. However, the family from Thailand, where the original energy drink formula originated, held the controlling 51% interest, a stake agreed upon in 1984 during the brand's inception. While holding the majority stake, the Thai family has maintained a low profile regarding its ownership of the F1 team. They seldom attend races and prefer privacy, with little media coverage of their involvement. Additionally, they have distanced themselves from decision-making for the F1 team, leaving Dietrich Mateschitz as the primary figurehead of the organization. Following the passing of Dietrich Mateschitz, uncertainty loomed over the control and management of the F1 team. Christian Horner expressed concern that someone lacking the paternalistic approach of his former boss might take over, potentially jeopardizing the team's direction. Mark Mateschitz assumed his position on the board and appointed his associate Oliver Mintzlaff as the CEO of the group's sporting activities. This move signaled a shift in control as Mintzlaff began to assert influence over the direction of the F1 team, leaving Horner with a clear understanding of the changing dynamics within the organization he had helped build. Mateschitz Jr. forcing the agenda. Before Dietrich Mateschitz's passing, his son Mark explored the possibility of partnering with Porsche for the new Red Bull powertrains project. However, it became apparent to Christian Horner and the senior management of Red Bull F1 that Porsche demanded too much control over future decisions and sought a 50% ownership stake in the team. The Red Bull powertrains project stemmed from the fallout between Red Bull F1 and Renault following the introduction of the new V6 turbo hybrid engines in 2014. This strained relationship left Red Bull scrambling to find a new power unit supplier as Mercedes and Ferrari declined to cooperate. At the same time, Honda was exclusively contracted to McLaren F1. Eventually, McLaren parted ways with Honda, leading to a partnership between Honda and Red Bull, resulting in 5 championships over the last 3 years. However, trouble emerged once more for Red Bull Racing when the management board in Japan expressed uncertainty about the team's F1 future. They decided to withdraw from F1 once again, leaving Red Bull Racing in a state of uncertainty. Horner at odds with Salzburg. After laying the groundwork in Milton Keynes, the home of Red Bull powertrains was swiftly constructed, setting a record for its rapid completion. With current engine regulations frozen until 2026, Red Bull recruited several engineers from Mercedes' high-performance unit, who had played a pivotal role in developing the dominant V6 turbo engine that contributed to the team's success from 2014 to 2020. Initially, there was little interest from Red Bull in partnering with a global combustion engine manufacturer, as Horner's team felt confident in their capabilities. However, the failed negotiations with Porsche led to another opportunity, resulting in Ford's re-entry into F1. Initially viewed as a cash sponsor seeking brand exposure in the F1 landscape, Ford's involvement was perceived as limited to financial support. However, recent reports suggest that there may be collaboration on the electric components of the new 2026 power units. Horner's resistance to the Porsche partnership strained his relationship with Marc Mateschitz, resulting in lasting damage. Following his father's passing, Horner rightfully harbored concerns about his future within the organization. Red Bull F1 buyout behind the scenes. According to FormulaPassion.it, news has surfaced that Christian Horner and some wealthy British investors have been collaborating with the Thai owners, who hold 51% of Red Bull, to purchase the Red Bull F1 team. This move has angered Marc Mateschitz and his fellow Austrians, who own only 49% of the team. The situation has caused bitter divisions within the Red Bull GmbH camp, with Dr. Helmut Marko being drawn into the arguments. Mateschitz Jr. reportedly believed that Horner's position was too senior and costly for the business, while attempting to shift decision-making from Milton Keynes back to Salzburg. As the acquisition gained momentum, Horner suddenly found himself at the center of unsubstantiated allegations of inappropriate and controlling behavior. Following an 8-week investigation, Horner was cleared of any wrongdoing. Shortly after his clearance, an anonymous email containing alleged documents from the investigation was sent to 149 recipients, including F1 team bosses, the FIA, FOM, and prominent journalists. Despite the ensuing drama and scandalous accusations, support for Horner's removal was lacking. Journalists were provided with FIA articles alleging that Horner was bringing F1 into disrepute, while the true damage to the sport was caused by those orchestrating the smear campaign. Despite the attempts to tarnish his reputation, Christian Horner appears to emerge victorious, with his enemies exhausting their efforts against him. In an unexpected move, Chalem Yovidia and Dharani Yovidia, who inherited the majority share from the Thai founder, broke their tradition of remaining unseen and supported Horner by appearing on the grid with him. If the Yovidias agree to sell the F1 team to Horner and his investors, it could spell the end for the Austrian contingent led by Mateschitz Jr., Mintzlaff, Franz Watzlawick, CEO of beverage business, and Alexander Kirchmeier, Chief Financial Officer. Marko's strange silence and interference of Jos Verstappen. Despite attempts to undermine Christian Horner, he may emerge victorious. Contrary to rumors suggesting Adrian Newey's dissatisfaction with Horner and a potential move to Ferrari, Newey benefits significantly in shareholding if the buyout of Red Bull F1 proceeds. The seemingly indifferent stance of Dr. Helmut Marko towards the accusations against Horner may be attributed to their known strained relationship. Marko, who received a new contract from the Austrians, seems to be playing it safe, and Horner would be wise not to seek retribution against the 80-year-old should he prevail in this internal conflict. Marko's assurance of Max Verstappen's continuity at Red Bull Racing suggests that the successful partnership between driver and team will persist for the foreseeable future. The involvement of Max's father, Jos Verstappen, was unusual as he called for Horner to step aside to prevent the team from being torn apart. Speculation suggests that the Austrians may have offered Jos a role in a Horner-free future at Red Bull Racing, and his attempt to discredit Christian was likely to secure that position. Jos Verstappen's absence from the upcoming Saudi Grand Prix and future role in the Red Bull garage remain uncertain. If Horner secures control of Red Bull Racing, he stands to gain without personal cost. The management buy-in would include a 40% shareholding for management, with the remaining 60% going to investors without veto power, overpricing the funds. The Saudi Grand Prix media day will likely focus on Max Verstappen and his father. However, the real news will be if Horner seals the deal to buy Red Bull Racing, possibly transforming his image from zero to hero and solidifying his power in the sport, potentially making him a billionaire. So what do you think of the shocking move of Horner and the entire truth behind it? Comment below and subscribe for more.